This is where we left off after the last lecture. We had talked about the Delian League, which was founded by the Athenians, and the Peloponnesian League, which was founded by Sparta. And then I mentioned that the two groups started going head-to-head against each other, and the Peloponnesian War began. The Peloponnesian War was a 27-year war that went from 431 BC to 404 BC. At the beginning of this war, the Spartans surrounded the land side of Athens. They attempted to cut off Athens from land supplies, but remember, Athens has a super strong navy. With that super strong navy, they're going to be able to get supplies and get what they need from the sea through their navy. So Sparta stays at the siege until a plague breaks out in Athens, and because Sparta doesn't want to get sick, they run away. Athens continues this war by attacking some of Sparta's colonies in various parts of the country. And the war goes back and forth. Both sides win some, both sides lose some. After a while, there's a short period of peace. But, of course, this period of peace doesn't last very long. Athens breaks the peace. In the Peloponnesian War, Athens is the city-state that breaks the peace. Let's take a look at our map. I'm going to pull it up, and we'll see what Athens does. Here's our map that we're familiar with. As you know, Athens is located here. Sparta is located here. So in order to break the peace, what Athens does is they attack Sparta's colonies way over here in Sicily. Athens probably attacked the colonies of Sicily because they figured Sparta's really far away. So they're not going to be able to protect their colony way over here. Unfortunately for the Athenians, things don't work out the way that they had planned. So I'm going to go back to my other slide. The Peloponnesian War slide. So Sicily wins the battle. And with this battle, this is kind of the beginning of the end for Athens. Sparta gets Persia to join with them. And Sparta gets Persia to give them money to help them to win the Peloponnesian War. Sparta builds up its navy and eventually is finally able to block off Athens from both the land side and the sea side, therefore winning the Peloponnesian War. Very, very important. After the Peloponnesian War, there is a huge change in the government of Greece. Sparta's oligarchy takes over, and Athens' democracy goes away. A result of the Peloponnesian War is that Athens loses its democracy. A result of the Peloponnesian War is that Athens loses its democracy. Athens' democracy is gone after the Peloponnesian War. Like all wars, there are consequences. Of course, the significant one is Athens losing its democracy, but there is loss of life. People have died. There are cities that are ruined, buildings that have been burned, farmland that has been destroyed. Cities burned, farmland destroyed, buildings destroyed. It has been a war. Most importantly, the glory of Greece is gone. All right, here we go, dig and drill. What were two consequences of the Peloponnesian War for Greece? Wrong way, sorry. Oh. There we go. Go ahead and pause the video and take this down. This is very important. I hope you paused the video and wrote down the things that you just saw on the last slide, because here's our second dig and drill question. The most famous leader of the democracy in Athens was Pericles. Now we get to move into some really fun stuff. We get to talk about the Greek gods. So what did the myths tell about the gods? They told about how the gods influenced many areas of life, including nature and human lives. How did the beliefs of the Greek religion differ from those of Greek philosophy? The Greek philosophers questioned the gods and their powers, and they relied instead on human reason to solve problems. Here we go, the Greek religion. Where did the Greek gods live? They lived on the tallest mountain in Greece, Mount Olympus. The Greek gods supposedly lived on top of Mount Olympus. The Greek gods lived on Olympus. As you've seen in your book, the Greeks were polytheistic. They had many, many different gods. And they made up stories or myths about their gods. Myths are stories about the Greek gods, or about any kind of god. Even today, the Greek stories about their gods are interesting to read and entertaining. The Greek gods were different from the one true God. Obviously, there's several different ways that they were different, but the main thing is the Greek gods sounded a lot like humans, whereas our God definitely does not. What are some examples of things named after Greek gods today? Your book mentions the Nike shoe brand, the Apollo NASA missions, as well as the Atlas, and of course, Athens, which is named after Athena. There are several Greek gods which were believed to affect the weather. Those include Zeus, Poseidon, Apollo, and Demeter. This is something that you should know. The one true God is holy and sinless, whereas the Greek gods, not so much. Here's a list of all of the Greek gods and goddesses. A couple important ones to know are Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, and Hades. Zeus was the king of the gods, the god of the sky. Athena was Zeus's daughter, and she was believed to have been born out of his head. His head split open, Athena popped out. Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Hades was the god of the underworld. We're going to take a break here, and I'm going to show you just a little video on the Greek gods and goddesses from a video that I found on the History Channel.